Hello everybody, guess what? I am back and I am here with another Let's Play. This time it's Halo 5. Woo! I'm playing Halo 5. I'm playing some Super Fiesta. Random weapons. I'm on a team and oh look, guess what? I got some great weapons here. Got a little Hydra and a hammer. This is cool. This is but yeah, it's not good. Anyhow, this is actually not a live commentary. This is actually a voiceover. Something that I'm doing really quick because freaking man, just a lot of crazy shenanigans have been going on with regards to the what's it called, to my Elgato capture device. It hasn't been working properly. It's been lagging, it's been skipping frames, it's just been awful. And also with my and that's been causing my recording software, excuse me, my editing software. I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro. It's just a lot more work to get in there to try to sync everything up, because you know the audio doesn't sync well with the video, and then when I sync at the beginning before I record, it's just a lot of technical problems, you know, a lot of stuff. But anyhow, I'm back, I'm recording stuff, and I just have a few topics that I want to talk to you guys about, at least this week, some of the crazy shenanigans that have been going on. And as you can see there, I'm kicking some butts, getting my butt kicked as per usual whenever I play Halo. But yeah, some crazy shenanigans have been going on. What's been going on this week? Today, well, I'm recording this on Wednesday. Last night, I read about it last night. The FBI Director James Comey was fired by President Trump, and holy cow, that is just a big poop show right there. Oh dang, dude, I got wrecked. That was a big poop show right there. With, I guess, what the president plans on doing, what he said, and what we can kind of infer and figure out and speculate as to what his intentions are, you know. Cause let's figure this out, you know. FBI director was the one leading the investigation on whether the president had any actual ties with Russia, you know, to whether or not the previous election, 2016, was not necessarily rigged, but you know, had any outside influence, which would jeopardize the integrity of the election, you know. So that's what he's investigating. Whoops, that's my phone. Excuse me. Let me turn it off. I'm a little bit unprofesh here. So you know, that's a big deal when you fire the guy who's investigating you. You know, you might have some, not necessarily some criminal. Would it be criminal? I think it is criminal, you know. I think it is criminal, to be honest. Some criminal ties, you know, maybe some, you know, legal shenanigans going on, and you just get rid of him. Therefore silencing your would-be critics, your would-be prosecutors. Who knows? This is like some dictator level shenanigans that happened, really. I saw a really great meme. It's the black dude, what's his name? LeVar Burton? Is it LeVar Burton? LeVar Burton meme. I don't know my memes that well. I'm no longer a meme lord. I retired from being a meme lord back in 2015. Oh, get this guy. Ah, yes. I retired from being a meme lord back in 2015. It's LeVar Burton pointing one finger at his temple, at his head, and looking at the camera all sly. And it reads, you can't be indicted for whatever if there's no director researching you. Yeah, super flat. I fell on my face. YOLO. On the delivery. But I mean, you get the idea. You can't be arrested if there's nobody arresting you, pretty much. So that's a big deal, really. Regardless of whatever political party you are affiliated with, regardless of, you know, whatever you you believe in regards to the political spectrum, you can't fire the people who are investigating you. You know, if you have nothing to hide, then well, you should be good to go. But if you do have something to hide, and you're firing the people who are investigating you, then it looks really bad. And that's exactly what's going on with the president. He's looking bad. And oh, look at this! I have some weird weapon right there. Some weird super plasma pistol. Yeah. I'm really hoping this is synced with what I'm seeing, because I'm seeing one thing while I'm speaking, you know, like I shot that plasma pistol round and it like created a weird black hole thing with that dude and wrecked him. So, you know, I'm really hoping it's everything's look at that. See, that's super cool. I'm really hoping, you know, it's synced well and it's not totally off, but you know, this is whatever. This is the last chance that I'm given my hardware and my current setup. I don't care anymore. It's if it doesn't turn out well, it's going up on YouTube. I don't give a flip. I'm uploading content. So things will get better with time, okay? Just making things work with what I have. Anyhow, so today was the White House press conference. Oddly enough, not with Sean Spicer because he wasn't there, but with Susan Smith, I guess, is her name. Charlotte Smith, Charlotte Smith, whatever her name is. She's the deputy press secretary, and so she's the one who had the meeting with, you know, the journalists and all the people there at the White House. It was like 11 o'clock California time, and she pretty much she didn't necessarily dodge a lot of questions, but she kind of just evaded those questions and saying, yeah, direct those questions to the Department of Justice. You know, when people asked her like, hey, you know, does this mean that, like, Department of Justice, you know, talk to them. So and then that's what the majority of that press meeting was about. You know, direct your whatever questions up to these people. You know, somebody had asked her what the president's intention was, because, you know, if he had confidence, and what the official statement was, because I guess the official statement was that President Trump already had plans to fire Director Comey, and that, you know, this was just a coincidence, I guess, but there was already plans. He was not fulfilling or doing, I guess, the best job, and he was failing, you know, the FBI essentially as director. So, and that brings up a lot of questions too when you have that official statement. Oh, look at this guy. He's gonna try to get me with the sword. I got this guy with the fuel rod. All right, watch out. There's another guy with the sword. Oh, right there! Shoot him! Oh, I ran out of ammo. Whoops. I remember that. I remember being there. Oh, we won! Yay! Woo! Perfect. Look at that. I contributed. I'm gonna be on the top. I'm gonna be right there at the top. Lol, JK, guys. It's another clip. So anyhow, oh man, you can see the video stuttering. At least I'm seeing the video stutter on my end. I don't know how it's gonna turn out on the YouTube end. So like I was saying, compared to what the official White House statement versus what the president has said in the past, and, you know, kind of the impression that he's been given before all these shenanigans went down, was that, why aren't they moving? There you go. Was oh, I think I know what's happening here. So as an aside here, I was recording this and I was doing this live. So like all the footage you see here is footage of me playing this game while I was doing a live commentary over it. And so there were times where I had to look back at my Elgato and look back at the computer to see if it was recording, and to see if, you know, if it was recording smoothly. And if it wasn't recording smoothly, I was ready to stop the recording to be like, all right, let me restart it and maybe reset it or do whatever. Yeah, so all this had live commentary. I was talking about these topics while I was playing the game. And let me tell you, I was doing a very good job. No stuttering whatsoever. Anyhow, moving on. Getting back to the topic. Somebody had asked, one of the journalists had asked the press secretary, deputy press secretary, like, hey, President Trump had said this, you know, back earlier in May, that he was fully confident with Director Comey and his work that he's doing with the FBI. You know, does that mean, you know, that he's contradicting himself when he says that now, with, you know, these official statements, that he has no confidence in Director Comey and that he already had plans to fire him? Like, you know, what is he trying to say? What is the president trying to say? And, you know, the press secretary lady, she's all like, no, you know, that's because of this and that, you know, just basically giving an answer that doesn't make a lot of sense. So somebody. I mean, this brings up a lot of questions too. Because if the president had plans already to fire Director Comey, then why did he need a recommendation from the Attorney General to fire him? You know, does that mean that? Oh, look at that video. That was awful. Does that mean that the president, if he already had plans to fire him, you know, did he need the Attorney General to write up a recommendation to just be like, here, you know, back me up. This is my excuse. You know, if anybody asks, you know, I'll just tell them that you told me to do it because, you know, that's what you recommend. You know, and one of the journalists asked that type of question. You know, like, is that what this means? So really, it's kind of a mess. I mean, it's kind of a big mess when you think about what the you know, the FBI director, what he was doing and what conclusion he could have gotten to. I mean, you know, the press secretary was saying, like, you know, all you guys, all you Democrats out there are just looking for any excuse to hassle the president just because you're the other party and we're the party that you don't like, and that's what you guys just do. You know, you're all partisan politics, and that's what we hate about Washington right now. We gotta drain the swamp. But I mean, really, I understand that people have reason to dislike the FBI director because, you know, back in the previous election when he was, you know, like 2 weeks or whatever, right before the final results, you know, FBI director comes up and is just like, oh, hey, maybe we should open up those emails again about Hillary Clinton. And then people complain like, oh my gosh, this guy single-handedly, you know, cost her the election. Whatever. Who really knows? I mean, we can argue about the reasons why she really lost, you know, which I guess the emails, you know, just like Bernie Sanders said, enough with the damn emails, you know, might have played a part, a small part. But, you know, I digress. Really, what the situation boils down to is that you open up the emails again. He thought to himself, all right, well, let's open these up. This is a really bad time to do it, but let's just do it right now and see, you know, what's up. And by the way, let's continue these investigations for Donald Trump to see if he really was, you know, or had any connections with Russia. So, I mean, you can kind of see that maybe he was bullied a little bit hard out of his position. Not really a cool place to be in. Rip the dream. The FBI dream, Director James Comey. He's gone though, so I mean, what can you really do? You know, a lot of people warned the president about this. You know, about shenanigans that could have gone on, and that also make him look bad too. Like Sally Yates, for example, she went to testify before the Senate that you know, she had warned the president about Michael Flynn, and, you know, like, hey, he might have connections with Russia, you know, be careful right there. And, you know, he didn't pay attention. So, President Obama also said that he too warned Donald Trump, like, hey, you know that Michael Flynn, you should probably, you know, stay away from him. You know, might not be the best person to be near with regards to allegations and whatnot. So, you know, people warned the president, and I guess what happened also was that you know, he knew he stuck with that information. Oh, flip! He stuck with that information for like 2 weeks or whatever, 18 days, who knows how long. I mean, people do, just not me, because I don't have my that detail specifically. No, this is bad. Look at this. This is bad video. Bad video feed. I'm dead. Can you imagine if that's, you know, you were playing like that? That's super lag, man. That's like 2004 early Xbox Live, you know, quality lag that you're getting right there. Anyhow, so he sat with that information, but it wasn't until the Washington Post made an article and published it and saying like, oh, hey, by the way, Michael Flynn, he's got ties with Russia, you know, like this is a real thing. You know, they're just like, oh, flip. All right, well, let's get rid of Michael Flynn. He's done. Yeah, right. We're done here. You know, and this could be a similar case. You know, we can wildly speculate. This could be a similar case you know, where the cat's out of the bag, and they're just like, all right, frick. Well, the FBI director, he's super close to figuring out, you know, what's up. All right, let's get rid of him. You know, Jeff, I need you to help me, back me up. You know, just write something and we'll roll with it. And that's what happened. Maybe, who knows? Allegations and speculation from a random YouTuber out in Southern California. Who knows? But what it all boils down to is just it being a big mess, and it doesn't look good for the president. So, you know, that's what happened this week. You know, and I pay attention to that type of stuff. You know, I like to, you know, to read about the world events, especially U.S. events. You know, stuff going on with government, on the national scale. And I talk about that, you know, with people. I talk about that with my dad. He and I, oddly enough, we align ourselves politically, you know, even though he and I, we disagree on many other topic, you know, about life and about religion and whatnot. We see the same way with regards to politics. You know, we like to think of ourselves as very moderate, not necessarily leaning towards the left or the right, but rather more about our community. Sure, there are certain things, topics where we might disagree on, you know, maybe like abortion or same-sex marriage, you know, because generation, that's how I see it, that's how I define it. I mean, he grew up in a different time, you know, he grew up in Mexico in the 70s. You know, I grew up in the United States in the 21st century, you know, so things might be different. We might see it slightly different on a few things, but when it comes to like immigration, the economy, economics, immigration, trades and trade deals, a lot of that stuff we agree on pretty much. So I remember talking to him about it, and yeah, we both came to the conclusion that this is like some kind of novel shenanigans, that it's like some Michael Crichton or some oh look, that's my cat, some Michael Crichton or some Tom Clancy, you know, Manchurian Candidate, whatever Denzel movie you can think of. This is some crazy shenanigans going on, and who knows if that's really the case, you know, because all we have are speculations. I mean, nothing is super concrete. Nothing is verified. We just have all these things that look super shady. Oh, dude, I'm about to get wrecked. Oh no, I pulled it out. Okay, cool. That was lucky, man. Had a teammate there. So, yeah, dude, this is crazy. I mean, I feel like when people, you know, look back at this time, 2017, early 2017, to potentially 2020, who knows? You know, they'll look back and historians will be able to pinpoint, like, yeah, this is exactly what happened. You know, we'll get all the facts straight with time, but for right now, we can wildly speculate. And this story's fresh too. I mean, just wait for the Thursday, May 11th, the Friday, May 12th, press hearings. You know, oh freak, I got you know, just wait for those and for more details to come about with regards to the story, because I mean, it's heavy. So, you know, be on the lookout for that. I'm pretty sure by the time this video goes up, we'll know a bit more. A lot more political pundits will be able to give more educated guesses, you know, estimations, hypotheses. We won't have any shortage of rampant speculations from people on the street or people with an internet connection. Seriously. So, just wait it out. But what I encourage everyone to really consider, regardless of political affiliation, is to really ask the hardball questions and to, you know, really put it to the Republican Party to, hey, you know, you can't let this guy do shenanigans like this, you know. So make some phone calls, send some emails. Let's all get on it. Let's play. What is this? I'm playing in a Lego world now. Oh my gosh. I mean, the geez, dude, the crazy things you can do in Forge, in Halo. I'm super impressed. You know, and it gets better every month, really. So it's a pretty robust, you know, as robust, dare I might say, as Halo 3, Halo Reach, Forge. You know, those were early Forge, but it was still very robust. I really played a lot with Halo Reach Forge. I remember making a lot of maps and playing those maps that I would make with my friends. You know, we'd play some Super Fiesta on the maps that I would make. Um, we played some free for all, some Team Slayer, and those were some good times, you know, during the Halo 3, Halo Reach days. Anyhow, so another thing that happened as soon as I um, you know got to making, I guess, a stable video last week was SourceFed Nerd and the untimely demise about SourceFed Nerd and the untimely and, I guess, unappreciated rise of now this nerd. So what happened originally? Well, let me talk about SourceFed for a little bit. SourceFed was a rip the dream, rip SourceFed. SourceFed was a show on YouTube. It was a YouTube channel where they talked about world events, popular topics, things going on the internet. You know, they talked about those topics. You know, with a specific focus on like internet culture. You know, things that were that mainly people on the internet would be interested in. So they talked about that stuff. You know, and these were segments that were 3 minutes to 8 minutes long. Rarely a video past like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. You know, maybe if they had like a special and they were doing something fun, maybe you'd see a 15-minute video in there. But these were like snippets and clippets of topics with hosts who would read from a prompter and, you know, would tell you. They would write the stories and they would tell you, you know, getting your news, one bit of news from one side. And so that was back in 2011. I remember interning with them for a little bit back in 2012. You know, and these guys were really great. These are really great comedians as the hosts. They worked super hard. They got a big following. People loved them. And, you know, and at the time when Philip DeFranco, he started the show, he was super involved with it. You know, but I guess over the years, and I stopped following SourceFed after 2013. You know, I stopped, I guess, watching their videos, and I guess Philip DeFranco lets, I guess, the ownership of the channel and I guess that group of hosts and editors and writers, you know, go on to another group, media group. And so, but over the years, SourceFed grew in popularity. They eventually started another channel that was called SourceFed Nerd, which specifically focused on nerd culture and you know, geek stuff. They would do a D&D, a Dungeons and Dragons series. They would talk about video games, comic books, movies, TV shows. You know, Game of Thrones and whatnots, your Walking Deads, and all that other good stuff. So super popular. They would do a lot of great stuff, and they would do a lot of parody videos. Because I mean, you know, a lot of them are comedians. You know, trying to make it into the LA comedy scene. So you know, when you get a bunch of funny people together, you're gonna get, you know, quality content, and that's what people loved about SourceFed and SourceFed Nerd, that it was quality content, and people went and followed this channel for the hosts, for the people. You know. They earned and they worked hard for their community, for their fans. So SourceFed Nerd and SourceFed had an untimely demise when the company, I guess their parent company, One Group Media or whatever they're called, some media group bought them and said like, okay, yeah, we own SourceFed now, and we're not going to need them anymore, so we're going to fire the hosts and just the channel's done. And that's exactly what happened. The hosts were fired. They had their last live stream, you know, and that was it. no SourceFed was no more, and also along with SourceFed Nerd, which is a part of it. But this was pretty recent too. But recently, very recently, now this, who I assume is owned by One Group Media, or the parent company that owns SourceFed now, that bought them out. They put in, and I guess in an effort to, I guess rebrand and branch out, they took the SourceFed channel and rebranded it as Now This Nerd, and started uploading their videos. Oh, I'm in a new map. You like that transition? No transition whatsoever. So they uploaded their own videos, pretty much essentially taking over, hijacking, as you may want to say, the channel, and in an effort to reach an already established community. And what you may guess, it wasn't a success. It was actually a huge failure, because everybody in the community, the 1 million+ subscribers that SourceFed had earned, when they started seeing this on their feeds, on their subscriber feeds, they went in and they said, like, hey, no, this isn't right. Like, what is this? SourceFed Nerd is now this nerd. This company just expects us to instantly, watch this new stuff and immediately approve of this new stuff. Like, no, it's not right. And it makes sense, because when it comes to geek nerd culture and all that stuff, you can go anywhere for that. Really, this is the internet. You can literally go anywhere to find that type of entertainment, that type of content, that type of information. But what makes you stay is the hosts. What makes you stay are the I guess the relationship, that, or the affection that you develop for the hosts, for the people, the individuals who put their own flavor and their own spin on the content. So those people immediately started hating on Now This Nerd, and I remember watching another video and reading up about how, when they were rebranding Now This Nerd, they forgot to take, or to claim, the Now This Nerd Twitter handle. And if you go and look up Now This Nerd on Twitter, you just see a bunch of hate for them. So it's pretty funny. You see Now This Nerd on Twitter hating Now This Nerd, the YouTube channel, and it's gold, really. It's just some class A quality trolling that's going on. Am I gonna get this guy? Yes, I did. Take that. It's just YouTube drama, really. And it makes sense from a business point of view when you think about it. You're a business, you're a big executive or whatever, at the top, and you're just like, okay, we bought this channel, we bought these assets, and we have our stuff that we want to push forward, our entertainment that we want to reach to everyone. How are we gonna do it? Should we start a new YouTube channel and just start from the beginning, or do we use one of these assets that we already bought and just roll with it and see how it goes? People should roll with it. They're gonna go with the latter and just be like, all right, well, let's just use the channel that we bought and see what happens. Let's roll with it. But yeah, much to their dismay, it did not work. Surprise, right? So, I mean, and Frank, dude, what are they thinking? I mean, it's all about numbers. For when you're at the top, that's all you got to think about. It's all about numbers. You eventually become disconnected from the bottom, where it's all about passion, where it's all about creativity, where it's all about your desires and what you want to do and your goals that you want to achieve when you're at the bottom, pretty much. And I was freaking out when I got to this part. I didn't know this part existed in this map. That little cubby with the 3 entrances, the 3 holes. So that was pretty cool. I didn't know about that. You discover something new. Anyhow, so yeah, once you're up there, it's all about numbers, and so you can kind of understand, at least in part, what they were thinking about. Stop it, cat. You're touching the microphone, rubbing your face all over it. You can start to think about I guess what their reasoning was behind it. So now this whoever owns now this they're doing some shenanigans, pretty much, and that's it. Great people. Elliot Morgan, Meg Turney, Trisha Hirschberger, Steve Zaragoza. Those are great people, and I met them. They're super great. I love Steve. He's a super down to earth guy. I remember seeing him go into the back room. I remember taking out the trash and seeing him go into the back room and play the Wreck-It Ralph arcade machine that they would have in the office. And he would just go in there and be like, "Yo, what's up?" So man, hey, man, he would come in and he would just give like life advice. He would give counsel. And I don't know if it was just me being, I'm a young guy and I have a young looking face, even though I'm in my mid to late 20s now, I still have a young looking face. And he would just see me and he would be like, "You know what? This scrappy kid, I'm just going to tell him what's up. I'm just going to tell him about life. I got to guide him in his, on his path. I'm just going to tell him what he needs to do, what I went through, so that way he can make the better choice." That was him and all his interactions with me. Super funny, but whatever. I mean, they're all great people, and it's a bummer really to see their hard work just be like, all right, well, that's how it goes down. So but I mean, it's not all trashed or whatever, because I mean, they still have their fan base and their true fans follow them as individuals. Trisha's doing whatever hosting gig she's doing now. Elliot's doing comedy on the stand up and improv. What's her face? Lee Newton. I don't know what she's doing. I don't follow her, but I'm assuming she's doing well. Meg Turney's doing cosplay. The newer cats. Stop it, cats. The newer cats, who who were in SourceFed as of late. Like Maud Garrett and she wasn't as late. She left SourceFed also. But I mean, they're all, I'm hoping that they find, their new project, and they work hard at it, and they find success, because they work hard. So that's pretty much it. It's a big mess. Lots of life stories, world events, and it's just a big mess. What are we gonna do? How are we gonna clean it up? Alright, so one last thing I wanted to mention. I saw Guardians of the Galaxy last weekend. Woo! Oh my gosh. Super good movie. Oh my gosh. So cool. Super funny. I mean, you cannot believe the amount of comedy that's in the film. Lots of great jokes, lots of great gags. I mean, I went in, I saw it Thursday evening, like at 10 o'clock, out here at the in Orange. And I say Orange as if you guys know what's up, but I mean, it's Orange in Orange County, Southern California. So I saw it with a few friends, and man, the theater was kind of full. It wasn't packed to the brim, but it was kind of full. It was like 90% full, and a ton of people were laughing throughout the whole film. It was just non-stop comedy, non-stop laughs. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I got to the point to where I kind of got annoyed by some of the people laughing, because it was just so much. I'm just like, shut up, I want to hear the film. Let me listen to it. Anyhow, super good. But really quick, just to end the video, I just want to mention one thing about the film, and I'm going to get into spoilers, okay? So, for those of you who haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a freaking good, funny film, okay? If you want to laugh, go watch that. You don't have to know anything about any superheroes. It's just go in there, it's about space and a group of characters. You're going to laugh, okay? So I was listening to a podcast, the Weekly Planet podcast, and in that podcast, they were talking about how they, because of Stan Lee's cameo with the Watchers in one of the post-credit or mid-credit scenes, they believe that the Fantastic Four might make an appearance with the Avengers in the next Avengers movie, which is Avengers Infinity War. Yeah, it's called Infinity War, not Infinity Gauntlet. It's the comic book series, but the movie will be like Infinity War, whatever. Anyhow, so and the reason behind that is, because I guess they think that their reasoning is because the Watchers, that race, that group, are part of the cosmos, the outer space side of Marvel Comics, and a lot of them are closely affiliated with Fantastic Four. Some of those space characters being Silver Surfer and Galactus. And the company that owns the rights to make the Fantastic Four films. You know what? I've recorded this a bajillion times, and I'm gonna get real here. This is behind the scenes stuff. I've recorded this a bajillion times, and I've said this a bajillion times. Whoever owns the rights to the Fantastic Four, and I've said it a bunch of times, and I still don't know who owns the rights to make Fantastic Four. So I'm gonna look it up right now. The rights to on my smartphone because of the internet. Who owns the rights to Fantastic Four? Okay. This is May Return Tomorrow. Fox never owned the TV rights to X-Men or Fantastic Four. Is it 20th Century? Oh, it is 20th Century Fox. No way. Okay, let's confirm this. I'm gonna click a link. So it is 20th Century Fox. No freaking way. I kept telling people, yeah, it's Fox. Wait, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Don't quote me on that. I've been freaking not confident with my answer for the longest time, and I've been saying it for the longest time too. Okay, it's bloody 20th Century Fox. All right, confirmed right now according to one website that I clicked on really quick in a mad dash to get you correct information. It's 20th Century Fox. Okay, so 20th Century Fox, if they own the rights to Fantastic Four, they could possibly own the rights to the rest of the space characters in Marvel Comics, and including the Watchers, that group of aliens who was with Stan Lee in the mid-credits scene of Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2. So, if that's the case, then Marvel Studios or Disney, most likely Disney, could have struck a deal with 21st Century Fox to say, hey, just give us back Fantastic Four. Come on. You're not going to do a lot with them. Stop, and I guess it could make sense, from a business standpoint. If Fantastic Four, they tank in the box office sales every release, if their last film made $200 million dollars, Disney could have very well come up and told 20th Century Fox, like, hey, we'll give you $300 million. It's a little bit more than what the movie made in the last box office. We'll give you $300 million, and just give us back the license to make the film. And that's it, done deal. And with that comes other space characters like Silver Surfer, Galactus, potentially the Watchers. Now, that's what these people on this podcast were speculating pretty much. Who knows what's really going down. But if that's the case, I mean, dude, look at this. Look at this hammer, man. Dude, I'm freaking wrecking with this. This is some super hammer. It's too OP. Too OP, I say. So if that's the case, then we very well might see a Marvel Studios Fantastic Four film, which a lot of Fantastic Four fans have been, saying, hey, we want this because we see the quality that Marvel Studio produces. Now, if that's the case, it could happen. Who knows? But I doubt and I disagree with that for this reason, that 20th Century Fox does not own the rights to all the space characters in Marvel Comics. And they said, oh man, we lost, dude. Can't believe it. Just kidding. I know what happened. We're going to go into another hard cut right there. There it is, the hard cut. You see that? You like that? Into another map. Into another match of round of matchmaking. Yeah. So, I think 20th Century Fox, they kind of handpicked what characters they wanted. I don't think they got, like a big deal. Like, okay, you get Fantastic Four and plus whatever else they get. I kind of think they just handpicked, um, the characters and the license to what characters they can feature in the films. So, um, ouch, people like Galactus, Silver Surfer, I believe they handpicked those guys. Because to be real, 20th Century Fox and all these studios, the executives up top who actually made those deals, they don't freaking know, all the characters in Marvel Comics. They don't know who they can use. This is just like Deadpool, Deadpool. The studio executives didn't believe in it, but they just said whatever, YOLO, and they gave it the green light. And they threw in Teenage Negasonic Warhead. I mean, they didn't know who that character was until the film probably released, and they're just like, "Oh, we have this character. We didn't know that. Like, who else can we use? Oh, we can use Legion. Well, let's make a TV series about him. Bryan Singer. Yeah, let's hook you up. Here's some money. Make a TV show about this guy." And Bryan Singer, who knows what's up, just like, "Yes, perfect. I can do some cool stuff." Because I mean, when you look at the history of the X-Men films, what do they always feature? Cyclops, Jean Grey, Professor X, Kitty Pryde, Colossus, Wolverine, Magneto, Mystique, some of the safer, well-known X-Men characters that they can build a universe out of, and they're not going to experiment with some unknown character and risk potentially losing the audience, with people that they don't know, and going, I guess, too deep into the Marvel Comics, the story lore. So they're not gonna risk that, because again, they always think about numbers. That's what they're focused on, and that's what they're good at, and that's how they make money, and that's how they stay in business, because they're good at it. Numbers. So characters like Negasonic Teenage Warhead, who was introduced, smash hit. Okay, well, I guess let's explore, all the characters I guess we have the rights to. But I do not believe that is the case with the Watchers, and I really believe that Marvel just simply has the rights to a lot of the space characters. Not necessarily all of them, because we can see they don't have Galactus or Silver Surfer. There was maybe it was a 2012, 2013, maybe it was a 2012 cartoon movie about Planet Hulk. And in the Planet Hulk comic storyline, Planet Hulk, the Hulk on Sakaar meets the Silver Surfer, and the Silver Surfer in the gladiatorial arena is the top combatant. He's the top warrior. He's the guy who kicks everybody's butt. But in the movie, the cartoon movie, Planet Hulk, which I saw on Netflix, because Marvel can't put, the Silver Surfer in a movie, they have to find somebody else. So who do they get? They put Beta Ray Bill. Makes sense, right? We just throw in somebody else who's in space, kind of, who's still, pretty powerful guy. Beta Ray Bill. Okay? So, when it comes to, I guess, thinking about and speculating what rights does the Marvel Studios have, and what rights do the other people have, those articles on the internet, like the one I just looked up right now, and the ones that you can look up on Google really quick on your own, they're gonna change, I think. And by the time Avengers Infinity War comes out and Phase 3 or Phase 4 of Marvel movies, get released, there's gonna be a lot of changes. I doubt the X-Men will go back to Marvel Studios, because Fox sees a lot of potential still, and they still want to milk the cow of of the X-Men. Even though Hugh Jackman is gone, Patrick Stewart's gone, they can still make a lot of great films with James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender. They're still gonna milk that first class cow. Even though, really, those movies, they kind of suck. To be honest, they kind of suck. They're not that great. X-Men Apocalypse, jeez, man, not great. It just didn't make a lot of sense, and as a movie by itself, it's not great. You have this all-powerful being who just decides to blow up everything. Who decides to put everything in a weird tornado. Like, is it the day after tomorrow? Geez, man. So, this is about the X-Men. Great characters with a lot of personality. Let's focus on individuals with personality, like Deadpool. And that's the reason why Deadpool was such a hit. That's the reason why Logan was such a hit, because it focused on an individual who had a lot of personality. And there's no shortage of great actors who can fill in these roles. It's just the executives and their vision clashing with the directors and the storytellers, and their visions as well. A lot of disconnect right there. Which is, I guess, an overall fundamental problem with a lot of Hollywood movies. But that's a topic for another day. So, but overall, I don't think the X-Men is gonna go back. Fantastic Four could potentially go back, but I don't think it'll go back anytime soon. Maybe 2020. I think it could go back. But right now, 2017, 2018, I don't think the Fantastic Four will go back with Marvel Studios. Spider-Man, went back with Marvel Studios in a way. Like half went back to Marvel Studios, but is gonna go back to Sony full. From what I read, I remember reading about how Sony wants to make a Venom film, and they want to make another. And they're pulling all the rights back to Sony to make another Spider-Man film, which is a big mistake. Huge mistake on Sony's part. Because, Spider-Man... dude. Now, I haven't seen the James... not James Garfield. What's his face? Andrew Garfield. James Garfield. Was he the president of the United States at one point? Probably. Andrew Garfield. The Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. I saw a little bit of it. The Amazing Spider-Man 1. It was kind of okay. It didn't really catch my attention. But from what I've heard from a lot of people, was that the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, especially the second film, it wasn't great. Like there's a lot of problems with. Oh freak, dude! I got owned. A lot of problems with the character really of Spider-Man and what they made him be. I guess too scrawny, too emo, or I guess and I guess not a good interpretation of Spider-Man. The Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, just fine. Spider-Man 2, big hit. Spider-Man 3, super funny. Like I loved how hilarious and how stupid Spider-Man 3 was, but when I think about as a film by itself, Spider-Man 3 was kind of it was poo poo. It pretty much was poo poo. So for Sony to go and say like, hey, you did a great job and you might do a really good job with Spider-Man Homecoming, but come on, we want Spider-Man to stay with us. It's a big mistake, I heard an interesting theory from another YouTuber that I guess a thing that Sony could do, I guess if they do take him back, is make a kind of Spider-Man universe where like all the Spider-Men from the alternate timelines, kind of meet up in like I guess kind of what one of the newer Spider-Man saga storylines was, where I guess all the Spider-Men from all the different timelines met up, and then in the end, Miles Morales became the main Spider-Man in Earth 616. And so, maybe do something similar to that in the movies. That way you can include Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. And maybe, who knows, some other wacky versions, Spider-Gwen. Get a young Latino guy, Afro-Latino guy to be Miles Morales. Who knows? Include a bunch of characters. Maybe a Flashpoint style crossover super event. Who knows? That's a suggestion. But I doubt they'll do that, because come on. When are they ever gonna listen to random YouTube theories about potential storylines? They don't work that way. We know that. So, yes, dash. I'm telling you right now, dash a lot of your hopes and dreams. Not all of them, but dash a lot of them. Because when it comes to executives, they're all about numbers. I'm not going to stop emphasizing this point. They are all about numbers. So, yeah. So Guardians of the Galaxy, super great. I loved it. I could talk endlessly about it, how great it was. I want to go see it again. I mean, it's been like a week. Almost, it's going to be a week since I've seen it. And I want to see it again. That's how cool it was. You know, I want to catch some more of the Easter eggs. Catch some more of the comedy. Oh my gosh, one of my favorite parts was when Peter Quill he calls Rocket a trash panda, and because Rocket's all super mad, like, don't call me a raccoon. I don't like it when you call me that. He's like, all right, okay, I get it. You know, you're very sensitive, so I won't call you a raccoon. Let's call you a trash panda. And Rocket's like, okay, better. And he says out loud. Peter Quill says out loud to Drax. He's like, haha, that's actually not better. Trash Panda's even worse. Rocket just gets on that, like, hey, man, don't call me that. But there's a bit where Ego, Living Planet, Kurt Russell, I guess he was talking, and I guess somebody else was talking over him, and he calls Rocket raccoon. He calls him a triangle face. And Rocket's like, hey, man, I'm not a triangle face. And then he just looks away, and he gets his little paws, and he just holds it up to his face. He just feels his face, like, am I a triangle face? It's so good. Oh my gosh. And the CGI for Rocket, I mean, it's super good. You know, you can obviously tell. There's no freaking way Raccoon will talk, and you know, they're in space, whatever. You know it's fake. You suspend a bit of reality for the sake of the film and for the sake of the viewing experience. But Rocket looks super good. I mean, he's just a great looking character. Baby Groot looks super good. They did a good job with him. They did a good job with all the characters, you know. Expanding a bit on their backstories. I thought it was a bit weird. Nebula, how she's just like, all I wanted was a sister. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't expect that from her. I didn't expect her to have feelings, really. I kind of just expected her to stay this one-dimensional, flat, I'm always angry type of character, but they gave her feelings, so that was a little bit interesting, but it's alright, whatever. You know, no big deal. Overall, I enjoyed it. It's not a perfect film, you know, what films are. Super good. I highly recommend it if you want to go in for the laughs. Don't take your kids to go see it. I don't think you should take kids to see it. I mean, unless they're like older than 13. I think that's an appropriate age, and the MPAA rating I think is fine. PG-13. Because I mean, when you think about it, there are like robot prostitutes in the film that the Ravagers find. You know, they're in like this weird planet, snow planet, and there's like robot prostitutes over there. Whatever. You know, they make a lot of, I guess, dumb, crass jokes. You know, if you want your kid, you know, your impressionable 5-year-old, 8-year-old to start saying dick jokes, yeah, go take him to see Guardians of the Galaxy then, you know. I remember going to see Logan, and these people took their kids. There was this family there, you know, and I'm assuming, you know, the kids told their parents, like, take us to go see Logan, we want to see this, and the parents were like, yeah, whatever, we don't care, we'll take it, it's family time, without really doing research. And like, Logan, rated R, Logan was a brutal film. It was super violent. I mean, I was watching it and I'm like, freak, dude, I should not have watched some of these violent bits, but it was crazy, hella violent, and there were kids there. You know, one girl was probably 8, the oldest was 11, but freak, dude, there were guys getting their arms chopped off, blades going through people's faces, blood everywhere, freaking eyes hanging out, eyeballs hanging out, chunks of people's faces getting blown off. It was crazy violence. So, you know, you parents, do your flipping research. Don't be a lazy parent. You know, if you want to take your kids to go see Guardians of the Galaxy, expect them to start making crass jokes because they saw a film with crass jokes. So, you know, can't stress that enough. And besides, you know, being there and hearing kids laugh, I'm just like, freak, man. They're laughing at every single bit. I just want to enjoy my movie in silence, the viewing experience. So that's kind of mainly why I want to go see it again in a less crowded film, because really, everybody was laughing at everything that Baby Groot was doing. I get it. He's cute. He's funny. I just want to watch it, in peace. Okay. So that rant's over. I'll end the video here. I'm gonna end the video. This isn't a film. I'll end the video here. Just saying that please remember to click like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. This is the format that I guess I'm gonna have to do my Let's Plays in because Elgato, isn't working. Do I have to get a new one? Do I have to reset it? Do I have to, I guess, return it? I don't know. Elgato just simply isn't working for me. So, these are the formats for these videos right now, which is okay. I mean, I still get the point across, and I can still talk to you guys. Remember to leave some comments, maybe some topics that you guys want to hear in the next video. I'll do my research, but this is good. Kind of that voiceover podcast style, which is very similar to that time when I was working at a recording radio station. Just talking for an hour, and I would do my research and try to fill that hour with topics when it came to video game news. So you better believe I'm gonna be bloody prepared. So we won, yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Just remember to click like, subscribe. I'll leave all the details below to support me on Patreon. I got some exclusive content there and cool incentives. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.